Got every plane defined. We've got true size and shape on everything. First thing we need to do is to develop a stretch outline. Remember, a stretch outline is where we're going to put all the distance around the object. So I'm going to go to my top view and I'm going to make a stretch outline equal to the perimeter of this object. So I've got 2, 1, 2, and 1, correct? So that is
16.
I got to take a shoe off for this. 2, 2, 1, 1, 4, 6. Okay. So we need to then come out here, and I'm just going to take a line, and I'll stay with my multi-view so I can just project that over, and that line needs to be 6 units long. I'll draw on the 0 layer because that white comes out really good. So we've got that line. We can then copy that up for the top. This is not a truncated device. If it was, then we would have some work to do on the top, but it's not. So I'm just going to copy this line and come up to the height of my object, which is 3 units. So there, and then we'll close the ends. So there's a stretch outline. So you should have now a piece of material, or representing a piece. We are 6 units by 3 units. Now our sides on this are pretty much done. We're going to do parallel line development. So the next thing we need to do is we need to find a datum for transferring our measurements. And you can put it wherever you want. But I'm going to come back to my top view and define some points. So I'm going to start right here and say there's point 1. That's going to be my main data. Then I'm going to go point 2, point 3, point 4. And I'm doing this for fold lines. So point 1 is going to be right here. Okay? That's that side. Okay, so then I need to then set off this distance. And you can just use offset with this item right here to set those distances. What we need to do is do our fold lines for these individual breaks that are going to happen. So you can do it your own way, or I'm just going to use the offset. And I'm starting at point 1, and I'm offsetting this distance right here. Then I'll come do my offset again for this side. And then this side, and that should put me right to the end. Now these are all fold lines, so they are on the hidden layer.
You did 1 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, and 2 to 1?
I did 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then I'm back to 1 at the end. So distance 1 to 2, that side. Distance 2 to 3, that side. Back to point 1. Do we have any questions, or Missy, you need some help?
Yeah, mine were way too close, so I'll know what I did wrong.
Okay, so your line.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Yep.
And you just went diagonal.
No.
That is that one too.
What are you doing this right now? Oh, out. Actually makes sense. What's your favorite? And then drinking part.
Go to 3 lines on your.
So I'm still
in light.
really into dog fights. He's not gonna show us how. The Ewok.
Okay. Is everybody there? Cheryl, you here?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so now we pretty much have developed it. This is all the sides. Now we need to do the top and the bottom and figure out where they're gonna go. I see both the top and bottom true size and shape right here. So let's use this. All I'm gonna do is copy it and place it on my object. So I'll do the copy command. And I'm gonna copy this character and I can put this wherever I want really. I'll put one there. And that's gonna be the top. And then let me put the bottom on it too, and I'll rotate the bottom just to show you. You can put these however you want as long as they fold up. So I'll put my bottom right here. But really, to kind of maximize the space, it would probably be better top and bottom here, and then I can stick another pattern in here or something. But you can put them however you wish, as long as they fold up. It's 3, 6, 7. That might still print on an A sheet.
I got it to
Put
fit.
that way.
It
What's that?
fits.
It fits. Yeah, it fits.
All right. Now, at this point, we got to say, how are we connecting the item? Okay, we've got everything here. We're going to cut out one sheet, put it together, but how are we going to connect it? So, do we need seams or not? And I would say we probably do. And let's say we'll do a little spot weld type of deal. This is going to be like 16 gauge sheet metal. So I'm going to put a seam here. That will wrap around and connect to this side. I need a seam for my top and my bottom also, so that I put those around, I can do them. Now, the seam just depends on how we're going to join it. We'll just make these kind of small. Let's make them 1/4 inch. So I'm going to do an offset of 0.25 on this edge and bring it out. Now, when you do your seams, typically we do not leave them square cornered. Because when you fold stuff, if you don't get that line perfectly right, when you fold it, top may come up, right? So we typically 45 the seams. So I'll come in here and I'll take a line, I'll lock it in at 45 degrees. Of course, I got 455. And put it there. Then I'll trim that up. And then put it on the other side. Okay, so that's going to be my seam. So it's 1/4 inch out, 0.25, and then the corners are 45. Typically, they're 45. Now, also what's going on in seaming, and you won't make this call right off the bat as a drafter, you'll wait until you get some experience or somebody will tell you. I mean, do I need just the one? If I come to the top, am I going to join it just once? Am I going to join all 3 sides? What am I going to do? Again, that would be somebody with a little experience kind of laying that out. Just for the purposes of staying fast, I'm just going to put one, and I'll put it on this side right here. And I'll do the same thing down here. Now this one, yeah, you can see this wherever we want. one seam on each. Once you finish with those, then you want to make sure your line types are all correct. Remember, an object line's a cut line, a hidden line's a fold line. Typically, your cut lines are around the outside. So my OBJs are going to be the outside. My fold lines will be on the inside. You might have to do a little trimming here. Okay, because this one right here I've got as a cut line, that's not going to get cut. Sure, got one mistake. Okay, your final result should look like mine. Now, if you want to print that, feel free to. You can cut it out and fold it up to test it. I would recommend that you do when you do these, until you know what you're really doing and you have faith in your projection techniques. Piece of paper doesn't cost a whole lot. It's a lot better to fold this up on paper than go to a titanium alloy that might cost you $1,000 an inch. Or vibranium.
Funny.
Somebody else watches 80s show. We don't have a real material.
Why not, damn it?
Did you say you did some trimming?
I did, because I had this as a cut line, so I had to trim that out and put a hidden line back in. On my seams, you know, I make sure those are bend lines or fold lines, or not cut lines.
Basically, you're saying you're making sure all of your lines are front later.
Yes. Yep. Correctly displayed, because they do have meaning. Cut line or bent fold line.
No, I actually copied it.
All right, so that's a real quick example of how to do parallel line development.
It's a lot.
Any questions on that before I move on?
Yeah. Okay, we'll all have it.
Oh, paper airplane? You call them rockets?
They're more like.
Okay, I'm gonna move to G-16. Again, I don't know that I really think you should draw with me. I think you should more just kind of get the concept and then apply that concept. So I just want to kind of clear up some areas. Feel free to ask questions. Again, if you want to go to something else, feel free to do so. This is just outside of normal lectures. One thing I would recommend if you do attempt this is once you think you've got your views all located, maybe ask me to check it, just to make sure everything's lined up. Because I would hate for you to get in and this guy's, shifted an inch in the wrong direction and everything's wrong, because it takes a substantial amount of time to do these. Okay, so in essence, you've got your base here, here, here. You've got true size and shape because you came off the true length line. We've located that. Since it's a true size and shape now, because I'm edge view, parallel, right, law 3. There's an inclined plane right here. That's true size and shape. My top's right here, my front's right here. Now, what I want to do today is really just kind of show you how I would develop this view right here. Then if you got a question, maybe I'll go to another view also. Okay, so let me toast all that. So in essence, here's where you're starting on that, right? Okay. Now, how do I build this view? I know that this line right here is true length because I see it in the front view right here. And since that line is parallel to this fold plane, it has to be true length here. I also know that my sides come off on that perpendicular to that. So I can throw my sides out right there. So archaic using AutoCAD tools. So I can put those out. Now, I can put them because I know they come perpendicular to this line. I just don't know where everything sits on. Okay? I don't know where everything sits on that plane. And I need to use my views to do that. So I don't have this one either, by the way. Let me get rid of that so that doesn't confuse us. Okay, so that's gone too. So this is kind of how we're sitting. I need to build this view. Now to do it, I'm going to have to use my auxiliary views. So if you remember, right, when I build this, I'm going to project from one back. So I'll project perpendicular right here for all of my surfaces. But when I get to build the top portion, I'm going to use this view that's right up here. And when I do this front face, I'm going to use this one. Remember, we go on the second view back, fold line to point, fold line to point. Okay. So that's why it's critical that you have these set up correct. Okay. Let me just show you. There's the other one right up here that's true size and shape at the top. Okay. Well, let's build. Should we build the top first, or should we build the face first? Okay, let's build the top. Okay. Now, the first thing we know about the top is that I can project. Here it is right here. I see it as an edge. Okay. So I can project perpendicular. Let me make sure I got perpendicular. I do. Okay, so I can project from here to there, here to here, and there to there. There's my top. Now, what I don't know is where this little channel is, because I know it comes up. Here's my front edge, okay, and then this little line right here is going to be this channel. This line right here is the back edge. Okay? And keep in mind that we are sitting here looking true size and shape. Here I see edge view, and then I'm rotating to this view here. Okay? Now, I would almost recommend when you do these that you then use the reference plane. Okay? Now, I'm going to make myself a reference plane from center to center, and I'll leave mine white, but that's the center line, right? Would you agree that that line is also, we get mid, that line? Okay, so let me switch colors on these two so I can keep track of them. I don't think I have any good colors right there. Let me go over here. Can you see that line okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So that line is the same as that line. Now, the only thing I need to really do is locate these two top points along this front edge and these two back points along this middle edge. And to do that, let me clean it up so you can kind of see those lines. Okay, so those are gone. These are now finished right there. Okay, so I've just got those two. I'll just use the offset for this. So instead of using fold line to point, I'm going to use this reference plane. So I can come up here and offset from there to that side. Since this is a symmetrical object, that's you almost always want to use reference plane. Okay. So I'll then bring that over and that over. Now that's my top. That only goes with this piece right here. Okay, so let me trim those on back. That's where I'm joining that top surface right there and there. Now I'm going to use offset on my reference plane from here along the bottom. So I'll offset, make sure I get the right point here, that distance, and that goes here. Okay. Now I'm now ready to draw this thing in. So let's see, don't need this line anymore.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. Okay, well let me draw. So it's going to go from here to here to here, and I need that line right there. So let me then delete that, and you see the bottom pop out. Okay. And let me change those to a finished condition, OBJs. And I'll trim this portion out because it's not there. Okay. Okay, so you see how I did the top?
Those are not true size and shape.
No, that is a foreshortened surface. I came from true size and shape because this views true size and shape. Okay, any questions on how we build the top? Now the top gives you some information about the lower pieces because this is tangent down here to the hole, right? And this is tangent to the lower hole. So I do have those lines that I can put in. I would recommend don't try and build both of them at once. You're going to get 1,000 lines on top of each other. Stick with the surface. So I'm going to stick with my top surface, build it, and then I'm going to move to this surface and build it. And folks, keep yourself clean as you move through this, okay? Because you're going to get literally hundreds of construction lines to build this. So let's go ahead and do it. Now, I need true size and shape. Okay. Where do I have true size and shape? I've got it right here. Now, I still have a reference plane. Let me switch my reference plane. So I can build this either way. Since it is symmetrical, the reference plane would probably work the best for you. Okay. But just to do it different, I'm going to do fold line to point. Both methods work exactly the same. Now, what I have to do, I've already got the sides coming down. All I need is this circle right here that I've selected. Okay. Now, when we got an elliptical surface, what do? We need to transport the center, major axis, minor axis, right? Okay. So let's do that. First thing I'm going to do, I need a couple lines here. Make sure I don't get off on my offset snap. Let me extend that to the back side. Okay, I think I need this axis also, right? here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to measure this using fold lines, so I need the center first. So I'm going to use the offset command, point to fold line to point. Okay, that comes right up on that center. Next thing I need is I need the axes. Okay, so that I see one axis right here. So I'll go fold line to point, fold line to point. And it's kind of nice, notice that they lined up right on those two previous lines I had up there. Okay, so that tells me I'm in the right ballpark. So here's the minor axis, here's my center. Now, how am I going to get this axis? I'm just going to project it. Okay, so I'm going to take this line here, and I'm going to transfer it over back to this view. Okay, there I see the limiting element, and then from here, I then go perpendicular also back. Okay, there's my bottom. Okay, I do need my center also, so forgot that one. There's my center right there. So that's it. So here's my center. Here's one axis, here's the other axis. I'm now ready for my ellipse. So it's going to go from here to here to here. So let me delete some of these lines here.